Hello everyone, myself Siddesh and you all are welcome to the second episode of Accompaniment Unraveled. In today's episode, we are going to analyze another tabla accompaniment piece played by Ustad Zakir Hussain ji. In today's video, Ustad ji is accompanying the legendary sitar player Ustad Shahid Parvez. This is from a 2018 concert at Raag Mantra in Delhi. So let's hear it once. क्या बात है. Now that we have watched the video, let's try to analyze it and understand what was played. So as we all saw, it was Tal Rupak, it was Madhyalay Rupak, and the tempo was ti ti na dhi na dhi na ti ti na dhi na dhi na. So it's a 7 beat Tal. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay. Ustad ji first started with a small phrase of 3.5 beats. Why 3.5? Because it's the half of 7. So it was, the tal was divided exactly into two halves, and the phrase was like dha din na tin ta tin na tin dha din na tin ta tin na tin ti ti na dhi na dhi na ti ti na dhi na. So somewhere here 3.5 Ustad ji played dha din na tin ta tin na tin dha din na tin ta tin na tin, and then holding on to that he improvised further. The I wouldn't say a kaida, but the impromptu version he played there, it was holding on to this 3.5 and 7. So let's hear what he played once. Then after that phrase, Ustad ji played the Dedi version of that phrase, like 1.5 times of the original, the bass line. So he goes da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin da. So he does the Dedi for around 1.5 of the avartans, and then he again goes to the bass line. So it's da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin ta. So it's da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin ta tin na tin da din na tin ta tin da din na tin ta. So after playing that piece, he starts to play other phrases using different kinds of bowls, like dhati dage dinagena and ghena dhati dage dinagena, and the use of tite. So what he actually does is he plays for first 3.5 beats, and then he again lands on that da then natin. So let's hear what he actually does. He plays he starts just before the sum, somewhere here, just before the sum, and he plays a phrase for 3.5 beats, and then he again lands on tha din na tin. So he plays ghena dhati dage din na gena tite tite take na dha din na tin. Okay, so he plays it from here to 3.5, and then he again holds again he joins the first phrase, the half of the first phrase. So he goes Gena dati dagi dinagana takena da then nothing, and he doesn't actually show the sum, it's for the audience. So let's hear it once. Gena dati dagi dinagana dha then na tin, and then he plays couple of similar phrases, but the language changes but the maths remain the same. And the second phrase that he plays, it's actually after the sum, so it starts after the sum. See the mastery of Ustad ji. The first phrase he started before the sum, second phrase is actually after the sum, and the phrase is dhati dage tinna kenna kat dhati dha then na tin. So the dha is of the 3.5, the original base that he created. Dha then natin, ta then natin, dha then. So this is the dha. So dhati dage tinna kenna kat dhati dha then natin, again the sum, and that's for the audience again. Let's see it. Then after that what he plays is actually similar to the previous one, that also starts after the sum, and it goes like kena tadi taki tina kena kit dha then nothing, kena tadi taki tina kena kit dha then nothing. So if you see the lines, ti ti na di na di na ti ti na di na di na, kena tadi taki tina kena kit dha then nothing, kena tadi taki tina kena kit dha then nothing. So he plays that phrase kena tadi taki tina kena kit dha then nothing, and then instead of showing the sum he starts to play the next phrase again before the sum, because now the audience has understood that where's the sum and it's a 7-beat cycle. So now Ustad ji is in complete control. So he does, let's listen to it once. Okay, the next phrase he plays is gena dati gena dati gena dage dinna gena dha then nothing. So he starts here, gena dati gena dati gena dage dinna gena dha then nothing. See the beauty. He every time lands on this beat only, the 3.5 beat. He does not miss it. He every time he lands on that beat, dha then nothing. So gena dati gena dati gena dage dinna gena dha then nothing. He starts just before the sum. So gena dati gena dati gena dage dinna gena dha then nothing. Okay, so gena dati gena dati gena dage dinna gena dha then nothing, ti ti na di na di na ti. Next phrase that he plays is similar to this one, and it starts again here only, and the phrase is dhagena dati dagena dati dage dinna gena dha then nothing. So it's ti ti na di dhagena dati dagena dati dage dinna gena dha then nothing. So just before the sum, dhagena dati dagena dati dage dinna gena dha then nothing, ti ti na di na ti. Okay, let's listen to it once. Again the next phrase is similar to this one, and it's dhati dage dinna gena dha then nothing, ti ti na di dhati dage dinna gena dha then nothing, ti ti na. So after these phrases he plays a role for 4 avartans, and then he picks up the tihai in the 5th avartan, and the tihai is also quite interesting. We will look into the tihai, but let's first listen what he plays in those 3 avartans. He uses the same language, and he also uses the he garnishes the phrases using tite, so it sounds very nice in that phrase. So tite tite dhagena dati dagena dhati dage dinna gena, he uses this phrase. Let's hear it once. So let's listen to the tihai once. So now let us try to understand this tihai played by Ustad ji. If you observe it carefully, the tihai doesn't start from the first beat, it's before the first beat, around the 0.75 mark. if we count the phrase that repeats 3 times, the phrase which actually repeats 3 times is dhati dhage tina kena dha dha dha. So if we count it, it comes out to be 3.75 matras, this phrase. And when we play it 3 times, it becomes 11.25 matras. And the tihai is actually of 2 avartans of tal rupak. So we have 2 avartans of tal rupak. So we have total 14 matras. 7 2s are 14. So we have to completely play for 14 matras. So this is 11.25, and the gap between the pallas is 1.25 matras each. So the total gap becomes of 2.5 matras. So if we add 2.5 into this, we get 13.75, right? And actually we started 0.75 matras afterwards, so we have to add that also, 0.75. So we get 14.5. So as we can see, we have calculated here, the 14 matras have completed here, and this extra 0.5 actually goes on to the sum. So that becomes the sum, and that's how the tihai lands on the sum perfectly. If I do the padant of tihai in half the lay, it becomes 1 dhati dhage tinna kena dha dha dha, tite dhati dhage tinna kena dha dha dha, tite dhati dhage tinna kena dha dha ti. So that's how the tihai is constructed. So that was the complete analysis of this part. Hope you like it. Now let us watch the solo part once again, and then we can conclude the video. So that's all for this episode 2. Hope you all like it. Please like, share and comment on the video, and for more such video, subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.